Hey, I'm Sean,
Hi, and I'm Shannon.
and we're the hosts of Wifey and Baby Mama. As always, we want to thank everyone who listened and subscribed on last week, and welcome all of our new listeners. This week's episode is titled "Girls, Girls, Girls." We're
All
going to
right.
start tonight. Yes, girls, girls, girls. We're going to start tonight episode with a few good news announcements. First, I'm honored to let you all know that my book, I Love the World Should Know, was officially released on yesterday. I'm super excited.
Yay! So excited.
Yes, so thank you, sister girl. You can visit my website, www.yvettegaines.com, to purchase your copy. This has been a long but fulfilling journey, and I thank you all who've been on the ride with me. I thank you, Shannon, for my patience during this podcast as we got it all together. I love you, sister,
Yeah. Yeah, I love you too. You were juggling a lot
a
and
lot.
you've done it all so graciously. So,
Yeah, I help with a help
congratulations.
of a good team. Thank you, sister. And we also have some exciting news in our podcast world. As we look to take Wifey and Baby Mama to some new heights, Shannon and I are going to be bringing on guests to weigh in, share their stories, and offer their opinions on some of our upcoming topics. So that's something for you guys to look forward to. And we just want to bring you in on that. So keep praying with us, keep listening with us as we travel our new journey and conquer new ground.
Yes.
All
And
right.
and feel free to give us feedback as well on our
Absolutely.
Facebook page or in our email, wifeyandbabymama@gmail.com.
Yeah, we want to know. We want to put this word out. We want to put these messages out to help people. But, like I said, we're always open to new ways, new ideas. So we've had a lot of criticism, and thank God, most of it has been positive. So we thank all you faithful listeners. It helps us. It helps us
Yeah.
get better. It helps us conquer our nerves to know that we're actually doing something, doing something meaningful. So thank you all who do email or text and send your kind words. We love you guys. And, like I said, we plan on being around for a while. So we want to make it, interested in and good for the listeners.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
Shannon, with all the good stuff going on, we can be here all night. God is reigning. I ain't mad at him. But we're
Not at
gonna get
all.
we're gonna get tonight's episode started. So on last week, we discussed what it looked like when women have children with different fathers or married to a man who's not the biological father of the child. Tonight, we're going to take a look at the other side of the coin and dive into some situations and scenarios concerning dads who are married to or dating other women who are not the mother of their child or children. You may have joint custody, or maybe you're the sole provider for the children for whatever reason, whether it be mom has moved on and decided she doesn't want the responsibilities because that happens, or maybe she just checked out and is doing her own thing. Or the worst case scenario, the mom may have passed on. And that's been happening more often than not. And the father's forced, to be a single dad. Shannon, you and I
Hmm.
were just
Right.
discussing, the sad passing of the comedian DC Young Fly's partner. You know,
Yeah.
rest in peace to that beautiful queen, and God bless him and
Hmm.
those babies. But that's got to be a tough thing.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah. And fellas, however you may find yourself at the head of that table with these precious gifts, treasure it, you know. Know that God brought you to it and he'll see you through it.
Yes. And speaking of tragedy, I've known a couple of situations where the wife has died young and the husband was left with small children, and the father then of course starts dating
Hmm.
and bringing in different women, and the children, in my opinion, are already traumatized from losing their
Yes.
mother. So as soon
Hmm.
as a mother figure comes through the door, they're attached. They're like, "Oh my God, I
Yes.
have a mother again." And the dude's like, "I'm just dating," you know?
Right.
So here's a revolving door. And so the kids are re-traumatized over and over as the man is trying to figure it out, you know? I wish, I know that you can't speak on grief, and he's a
Right.
widow, and he's grieving obviously and trying to, work on his pain. But I would wish that, men would think, let me at least go date the woman away from the kids.
It's
You
just
can
like what
date
we
and
were
work
discussing
on
last
healing.
week.
Mm,
Yeah, it's like we
mhm,
discussed last week with the women. It's the exact
with the
same.
women.
It's the exact same. Let me get it right. It's the exact same scenario, just with a different species, a different gender. Date away from the kids
Yeah,
in those cases. Like
yeah,
they have to move on. They have to date. They have to move on with their lives, but do it away from the kids until you know it's serious. So the same thing applies as it did last week.
mhm,
I
yeah,
just tend to walk a little more gently with the guys in this area, because as moms, we are naturally built, and designed to nurture and rear babies. It's not so much for the men. They are designed to protect and provide by nature. But as with
right.
anything in life, sometimes the roles are just unfortunately reversed, and it's becoming way more common now.
Yeah, yeah. And I have met, men that are, single, not due to any tragedy or anything. And they are very good about, not introducing um women to their children. So you do find, the exceptions, even
Right.
those that aren't, they're not nurturers like us, but there are those who it
Are
becomes innate,
exceptions.
I guess, after a while. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'll share something personal on that point real quick. A few years ago, when we had our last child, our son, he was about 1.5, almost 2. We had to suddenly move out of our home, that we'd been in since he'd been born. And my husband's mom did not want us to all live with her. So I asked my best friend, like, could we crash with her till we can find another place? And of course, it wasn't enough for 6 people, because we
Mm-hmm.
had, our
Right.
4 children and us. So my husband said, hey, I'll just go back to my mom's until we figure it out. So naturally, I was sad because our son had been attached to him since
Yeah.
he could literally move. Even before he could walk, Shannon, he was crawling to the garage, wherever his daddy was, trying
Oh.
to fix something. I mean, he was picking up wrenches
Mm.
at like 9 months. This is no lie.
Yeah.
Picking up the weights with him. So he was used to being with his father. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, our last night in the house, I was like, look, I know, this is going to be stressful on us all. Just make sure you see him daily because this will affect him.
Yeah.
My husband looked me dead in the eye, girl, and was like, you make sure you see him daily. He's coming with me. So I was like, what? It's like, I'm not sending my boy with a whole house full of women. That's not happening. Girl, I said, well, shut your mouth and keep on talking, honey. I wasn't putting up a fight. I
Right.
raised my 3 daughters mostly, alone.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
was married for
Yeah.
a little bit with them, but for the
Mm,
most part, I was a
right.
single mom. I buy that deal for a
Mm-hmm.
dollar any day. But seriously, he didn't ask me, was it okay? I didn't have a
Right.
say so. Or do
Right.
you
Right.
think you should take him? The man in him said, I'm taking my son. And I say
Mm-hmm.
to that, some men do have, the instinct to real, like you said, some are natural with it. But like I
Yeah.
said, we are just born to do it. But some of them
Right.
instinctively picked it up, and he did it without a fight. And some of them do without a fight. They take on the
Mm-hmm.
responsibility.
They do. They
Yeah.
do. Yeah. And then for the different women that are dating the men with the children.
Hmm.
Um, you know, if you're one of many, baby mamas with a guy, or say he has or maybe it's you and another baby mama, and you don't meet that baby mama, you're around his kids, you should speak up and say something. Hey, when am I going to meet the mother? If she's around, if she's in the picture, when am I going to meet her? Now, if she's not in the picture, like I have
That's a different
another
story.
friend who, yeah, that's a different story. The woman didn't want anything to do with her child, and so she actually left the state even. Not
Wow.
just yeah, not just her baby, but she left. So of course in those situations that's different. But I would think you would want to meet whoever is around your children, and you would want to meet on the opposite side, you would want to meet the mother of his children because that shows that he is respecting you as well as his child. Because if if a man would have his child around someone that the mother doesn't even know, what does that say about him?
Right. And
Yeah.
then a different conversation. Now, I know this will be a different conversation for some, but if, say, the relationship was over and the dad wanted to take the child or children because he was either spiteful, or maybe he thought the
Oh,
mom was
yeah.
unfit, things are not
Mhm.
always going to be smooth. But
Right.
still, you need to keep it decent and respectful for the kids, like you said, if they are around. And if it's something like you two as parents can't just work out amongst yourselves, find a level-headed mediator, because sometimes it's best to hear things from someone with a different perspective who doesn't have a bias either way. But however, like if the mom's spiteful or if you're spiteful, if you can work it out, if you have a new partner, you're absolutely right. It's best to try to have everyone come together, because anyone, and it's healthy for the child, right, to see all these people who are in my life get along.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
mean, we don't have to
And
be
it
besties. We don't have to go out to
right.
eat in
Yeah.
spa days, but it's best to
Yeah.
keep it cordial, because
Yeah.
and then what do we always say? You got to keep a decent, healthy relationship for the kids, and put yourself aside.
Yeah. Yeah. And even if you don't want to be around that other person on a regular basis, you don't have to. We're not saying that. We're not
Right.
saying you have to sit and, be up in someone's face,
For hours.
24/7 or yeah, or for
Mm-hmm.
hours on end. But you do have to know who they are. You should know who each other, who's around your children, or who is the mother of the children that you're around.
That's right.
You should
That's right.
have a need to know that information, and let the kids see that you all know each other. You don't, like I said, you don't have to spend any time together whatsoever, but that refusal to meet the other person, I've heard that so many times. No, I've never spoken to the to the my husband's ex, or the baby mother of
And my
my husband
boyfriend's kids.
or boyfriend. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that should be a given, that you
Yeah.
should want to know.
And another angle, Shannon, you can take with that is health wise. Say you've never met the
Oh
mom. And like I
yeah.
said, dads are good. Dads are great. Like I said, my husband sometimes is better with the kids because I'm just on one some days. But not every man is the same. But I'm saying, like, by
Mhm.
nature, I mean, it's just a given fact. That's what we're moms. That's what we do. But say it's an allergy, say if it's an epileptic event, and the father sometimes just either forgets, or they're just not attentive, or they just honestly don't mention it. And the new girlfriend is
Mhm.
watching the kids because he got called into work or he ran to the gym or whatever, and they feed the kids peanuts. I mean,
Mm.
the dad didn't tell you, but I know a mother I know me as a mom. Hey, look, this is what my
Yeah.
kid can and cannot have. This is where they go and they can't go. Even if the
Mhm.
father don't tell, as the mom, I'm letting you know this
Mhm.
is what's up with this kid.
Yeah.
You and daddy have fun, but
Right.
this is what goes on with my baby, and this is how it goes down. So
Yeah.
it's many different reasons why this should happen, and our egos
Mhm.
and attitudes shouldn't get in the way of that.
Right. Right. Not at
And
all.
now, this is a tough part of this discussion, but necessary. I like you said, Shannon. We know a lot of responsible single dads. I mean, I know quite a few, and they're out here doing their things and doing their thing. Kudos to you
Mhm.
guys. Like I said,
Mhm.
men are not recognized as often as ladies for being single dads. But I know some goats, and I take my hats off. I take my hat off to them, because as a woman, sometimes I'm like, oh my God, Calgon. So when you guys are doing it, I give it to
Yeah.
you. I give it up for you. But how you say it, Shannon? But but
But
y'all know everybody don't do right. When you have these men
yeah.
who have these kids all on the street corner with them, like you
Mhm.
said, Shannon, women running in and
Mhm.
out, crazy stuff, talking crazy,
Mhm.
doing the most, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
just like women, men should be allowed to explore and date and find their paths too. Having children shouldn't hinder them from that. Being a single dad shouldn't hinder you from your life going on no more than being a single mom should. But
Right.
use wisdom. You have to use
Mhm.
wisdom. Women are sometimes cruel, especially if they think the child is getting more attention than them. We have those women too.
Yes.
Have you ever seen the movie Parent Trap, Shannon? I don't know if you have. You don't have kids, but I've seen all the kids
Mm.
movie, girl. Well, anyways, these were a set of twins, right? So the mom and the dad decide they're not going to make it. So at birth, they take, very small. I think even before 6 months, the dad take one, the mom takes one. But she's so in love with him, she can't stay in the same city. So she moves to like Europe, I believe. And they raise these kids until they're like 13 or 14. And the twins end up at summer camp together, and they find out and figure out
Mm.
they're twins because one twin has a picture of the mom, one has the dad. But anyways, I'm getting into a
Okay.
fictional family in it. But anyway, I said that to say this. Um, they had a stepmother. The father was engaged, right? And
Mm.
then he found out that the other daughter, had found a daughter, and they were sisters. So he took both of the kids, and he's like, "Well, now that they know they're sisters, I'm not gonna keep them apart." Girl, that woman was doing the most to them kids, but they got her behind because she got them at teenage years. You can't fool with these kids these days. But I said that she acted like she was
Mhm.
so in love with the dad, and we're gonna
Mm.
have daughters, and she told him we
Mhm.
send them to boarding school as soon as we say I do.
Mhm.
You got to watch these women because some of them
See?
slick, honey.
Yeah.
They be
Yep.
having their own
You
motives.
do.
So you have to watch
Mhm.
their interactions with these women and your children. Don't just let men, don't just let words be all you have. Listen to the kids, especially if you leave them alone with certain women. I mean, I really never had the issue when it came to my children, and their fathers dating because
Mhm.
when I'm done, I'm done. Like I said, I don't keep an attitude. I don't want to go back. Maybe it can work. I'm
Mhm.
out. But I think for the most part, they read my resumes to whatever chicks they was dealing because I never had that problem, girl. They ain't want no smoke. So I was thankful for that. Because, honey, as I get older,
Right. Right.
fighting was it. But I got a few good ones left in
Yeah.
me, when it comes to my kids. So you got to be careful
Right.
and protective of your kids.
Yeah, and I like that, Sean, when letting these men know, listen to your children. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter, what this woman looks like, what she smells like,
that's it.
none of that. None
How
of
she
that.
putting it
It,
down, those children should
right,
come
right.
first. That's an absolute
Exactly.
fact.
Exactly.
And another
All
point I
right.
want to make clear from last week, for you fellas, it's just unhealthy to have all kind of women around your kids, just like it's unhealthy for women to have all kind of men. Molestation can go
Yes.
both ways,
Yes,
and
it
women are
can.
much slicker than men,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not
Mm-hmm.
just talking about
Yep.
sexual contact either, although it does happen, but they could be teaching your sons
Mm-hmm.
and daughters inappropriate things, period,
Yeah.
and you don't
Yep.
want that.
Right.
So when dealing with these girls, keep it classy,
Mm-hmm.
fellas, because you will be your son's first example of how to treat a woman. And you're teaching your
Right.
daughters what she should and should not accept when it comes to a man. You just always keep that in mind.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Love it.
Right. So I'm going to
Mm.
go up into our red line for today.
Red
Our
lines.
red line tonight comes from our June winner, Tamika, from the WBN Red Line Submissions. And
All
it's
right.
titled,
All right.
yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
have our second winner. It's titled Step Parents Do Not Have the Right to Physically Discipline My Child Unless They Have My Permission. Uh oh. Uh oh.
Uh-oh.
Now she said what she said, and that's the post, y'all. Now that's Tamika's post. She ain't elaborate, but this my segment, so I'm put my 2 cents in.
Go ahead,
I
girl.
feel I feel for sure, it depends on probably the situation. Now if you met this chick 5 minutes ago, yeah, girl, save yourself and keep your hands in your pocket. Don't be hitting on my kid. But if they've been dating for a minute or married, and we've been introduced, Shannon, and the vibe is good,
Mm-hmm.
have at it. Because
Mm-hmm.
honey, these kids be doing the most, like I said. These kids are slick. So discipline mine. But if you feel like I can't discipline yours, honey, keep them on at the house. Don't even bring them over here. And vice versa. Don't discipline mine and don't discipline yours. You got those parents too. No,
Oh
baby,
yeah,
everybody
I
gets
know.
oh
Oh
baby,
yeah.
everybody get it in my house. So if you feel like, oh no, we don't do this kind of punishment, we don't do that. Oh, my
Right.
kid don't go to bed at 8:30, they go at 11. Okay, well, you know what? Call daddy over. I'm honey, going over there and get to see your kids. Y'all go to playground, McDonald's, Splash Lagoon. Have some quality time, and then bring yourself on home and let them go on home. Because
Mm-hmm.
in this house,
Mm-hmm.
I get all mine. I hand out EEO whoopers
Yeah.
up in here, equal opportunities. All the kids get it. So
And now
I
you
thank God.
know.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
you
I want you to weigh in on that. How you doing?
know, I was gonna say, now you know, in this day and age, um, that's considered, uh, you know, child abuse.
I'm gonna tell you what my mama told me. In this day and age, it still applies. If I can't discipline mine, come take him to your house, and then you go ahead and do your thing. Because I'm gonna tell you what the Bible says: spare the rod, spoil the child. I'm gonna
For the
always raise mine by the
child.
word. The man ain't gonna raise mine, baby. And let me tell you
Yes,
something.
yes.
Mine are decent and in order, honey. You know, they're gonna do what they do as
Hmm.
kids. I'm not saying I
Oh
have perfect
yeah,
kids.
yeah.
Girl, the 18-year-old off the wall. But let me tell you something about her. I've did my job as a mom. She's 18, almost
Hmm.
19. Now, whatever choice she's making. Not under my roof, though.
Yeah,
Whatever rules I
right.
put down in here, that's the rules they're gonna follow.
Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I hear people say that all the time. Oh, they look at you crazy, girlfriend. Get popped real good in a minute. They be looking at me crazy. You come over here, you're gonna get popped too, because we can't spank them, but y'all can shoot and kill them or put them in jail for life. Not
Mm,
mine. I'm gonna teach them the way they're supposed to be taught,
I
baby.
hear you.
And I'm
Yeah,
alive and well
yeah.
for it. Did you not
Hmm.
hear at the beginning of the show that I said I'm an author now? Baby, I got towed up with whatever was in the room. Extension cord, broom,
Oh
the
Lord.
iron, if they can get
Oh
to it.
Lord.
And
Oh
baby, I'm doing
Lord.
just, I'm like boys the men, I'm doing just fine. I wasn't no penny on good times iron. They just take the cord and smack you up real quick. Oh, but they got down with us, honey. And I'm a
Oh
better person
man.
because of it. And I really think the problems we're
Yeah.
having in the world today, Shannon, is a lot to do with these rules of corporal punishment and spanking. They took
Mm,
the Bible out of schools, but we can celebrate all this other stuff. I'm gonna raise
yeah.
mine just how I was raised by the word of God, and I'm a good person because of it. Boom.
Yeah.
And
We just
again,
got regular.
thank God I'm married. I don't have to deal with those issues anymore.
You
Or no
you
more
don't.
kids, thank God.
You don't.
I was just giving my opinion on the red line, child. If I was single, we'd still be whipping people kids. Don't bring them over here.
I was gonna say we only got the belt, so I've heard all the stories about the switches and extension cords and all of that, but my mother only used the belt. My father, oh no, wait a minute, he used a switch. Never mind. I do
See,
remember
see,
that time.
we got to consider both parents. And it was the exact opposite.
Yeah.
My mom used the switch and my dad used the belt. Man, he whipped that joint off like he was super fly. I mean, with the
Oh
quick
what?
honey in the store,
Uh-huh.
he loved us, but he reared us well, honey.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like I said, Shannon, I'm a better person because of it. That's what's
Yeah.
wrong with these kids today.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they can't receive punishment. I'm not saying beat them. I didn't ever bleed, and if I did, I'm still alive. But if you can't if you can't
Lord.
spank your child, they shouldn't be allowed to shoot your child. I mean, what gives? So I'm gonna just raise mine the way I was raised, and I'll deal with it when the time comes.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I've raised some champions,
Uh-huh.
honey. So I'm all right with it.
All right.
And that's my red line for the day.
Uh,
Tamika, thank you so
uh,
much for your submission. And Shannon, what we got for Tamika?
Thank you, Tamika. You will receive your $100 gift card.
Yes.
Congratulations. And we do ask for anyone that has a red line that they want us to read on our podcast, please submit them to wifey and baby mama at gmail.com for your chance to win a $100 gift card if your red line is chosen. And we will choose a winner every third Thursday of the month, every third Thursday. So please send your submissions to wifey and baby mama at gmail.com. All right. Now we will go on to our next segment, which we call the fictional family I'm feeling. And the fictional family I'm feeling this week are uh, the Sanfords from Sanford and Son. Everyone knows Fred G. Sanford and Lamont. Um,
I'm
this
married to Fred
particular
G. Sanford.
episode, you are.
That's
Oh
fixing
Lord,
something. Go
we have to
ahead.
talk about that.
It's my
So,
nickname for my husband.
So on this particular episode, Fred is being a player. So he is at this time engaged to Donna. Everyone knows Donna, the nurse he dated and was with for many, many years. Well, on this particular day, he had invited Donna for dinner. And while at the house, a sales lady comes by selling something, a very attractive black woman, and he's smitten right away. And they end up talking, and she sticks around for several hours, 3 hours, and he says, "Hey, how about you come back for dinner?" And she says, "Oh, sure, of course, I'll come back later for dinner." And his son Lamont says to him, but after Donna leaves, I'm sorry, after the sales lady leaves, his son says to him, "But you've already invited Donna over." And so, of course, he says, "Let me call Donna and tell her not to come." So he calls, she's not there. He leaves a message. Donna calls back, and Lamont answers the phone and tells her to come on over, of course, because he's trying to sabotage. And so she shows up, and so here you have the two women there that night, sitting there, everyone looking crazy. Fred is, sweating bullets, and the women eventually find out, why they're both there. They turn on Fred, and, storm out the door. And Fred is left there looking stupid after trying to be such a player. And that is the fictional family that I'm feeling, the Sanfords.
Now, Fred is too old for the foolishness. That's the Lord, it ain't no limit on the foolishness. What I remember that episode. And
Yeah.
just like that, he let the flesh let him forget that he is engaged to a whole nother woman.
Yeah.
Girls that get you every
Girls,
time
girls,
on it.
girls. Every time, every single
Exactly.
time.
I love it. All right.
All right. So that concludes our episode tonight. And please follow us on uh, Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, like us on all platforms. We're on Instagram, um, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We look forward to you joining us again next week, 7:30, Thursday.
Until then, we love you all.
Love
Goodbye.
you. Goodbye.